Ladies and gentlemen, there is a presence within and beyond all things, a silent intelligence that moves through life effortlessly. It is not bound by the past nor limited by human perception. This presence, this divine force that many call God, has always been the source of transformation. And if it has done something miraculous once, it can do it again. If you are facing a challenge today, if you are wondering whether the same divine force that lifted you before can lift you again, the answer is already here. It is not found in the noise of the mind, but in the quiet depth of the present moment. God can do it again, not as a distant force, but as the very essence of life moving through you. The power of the present moment is often overlooked in our search for divine intervention. Many of us live either in the echoes of the past or in the projections of the future, believing that our blessings, breakthroughs, and transformations are tied to what has already happened or what is yet to come. Yet, the divine is not constrained by time. The very essence of divine power operates in the eternal now. To understand this fully, we must first grasp the nature of the present moment and how it is the doorway to experiencing God's miraculous work again. When we dwell in the past, we are often caught in cycles of regret, nostalgia, or even pain. We look back at moments of divine intervention, moments when things changed for the better, and wonder if such experiences were unique, if they were one-time occurrences that cannot be repeated. Or worse, we remember moments of failure and assume that they define us, convincing ourselves that what once went wrong will continue to go wrong. This attachment to the past prevents us from recognizing that the same power that once transformed our lives is still available, right here, right now. On the other hand, when we project ourselves into the future, we become lost in uncertainty. We anxiously anticipate whether something good will happen again, whether God will come through for us as he has before. But in doing so, we miss the only moment in which the divine truly acts, the present. The mind's fixation on a future outcome creates stress because it assumes that divine intervention is something that happens later, rather than something that is unfolding in this very instant. If we want to witness the miraculous again, we must first awaken to the now. The present moment is not just a span of time, it is the very space where divine intelligence operates. It is within this moment that we find clarity, renewal, and the presence of God's creative force. The reason so many people fail to recognize this is that their minds are too occupied with either the past or the future, leaving them blind to the miracle unfolding in front of them. Consider nature. The sun does not wait for permission to rise. It simply does. The river does not ask whether it will reach the ocean. It simply flows. These natural elements do not resist the present moment, and as a result, they move effortlessly within the divine order. Similarly, when we align ourselves with the present, we remove resistance to the flow of life. We stop doubting whether God can do it again and start seeing that he is doing it now. Faith is not merely about believing in something unseen. It is about being deeply rooted in the now. It is about realizing that divine energy is already at work, even before our minds can grasp it. When Jesus performed miracles, he did not say, "Wait until tomorrow, and then you will be healed." He said, "Be healed," and it was so, immediately. This is because divine power is not delayed, it exists beyond human concepts of time. To experience God's work again in our lives, we must shift our awareness from expectation to realization. Instead of asking, "Will it happen again?" we must recognize, it is happening now. The same presence that lifted you in the past, that guided you through difficulties, that opened doors where there seemed to be none, has not disappeared. It has not weakened. It has not forgotten you. It is simply waiting for you to be present enough to receive it. Many times we search for signs, waiting for proof that God is moving. But the proof is already here. In the breath we take, in the stillness between our thoughts, in the gentle unfolding of this very moment. The more we quiet the noise of doubt, the more we become aware of the divine working through us. God's power is not something that comes and goes. It is eternal. It does not diminish over time. If you have experienced transformation before, you can experience it again. If you have felt divine intervention once, You can feel it again. But to do so, you must let go of the distractions of the past and the anxieties of the future. You must step into the now, fully aware, fully surrendered, fully present. For it is in this moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but this very moment, that the divine is moving, creating, and renewing. And when you awaken to this truth, you will see with clarity, God can and always will do it again. One of the greatest obstacles to experiencing divine intervention again is resistance, the mental and emotional struggle against what is. Resistance takes many forms: doubt, fear, control, and even the belief that life should unfold in a specific way. Yet, the more we resist, the more we block the flow of divine energy. Releasing this resistance is not about passivity. It is about trust. It is about understanding that there is an intelligence far greater than our minds, one that has always been at work and will continue to be, if only we allow it. Many people struggle with trust because they feel the need to control their circumstances. The mind seeks certainty, always asking, how will this happen? When will it happen? What if it doesn't? This constant questioning creates tension and anxiety, reinforcing the illusion that we must figure everything out on our own. However, true breakthroughs, moments when God's power is most evident, rarely come from a place of force or control. They come when we let go. Consider a river. If we try to swim against the current, we exhaust ourselves, making little to no progress. But if we surrender to the flow, trusting its direction, we move effortlessly. Life operates the same way. Divine intelligence is always guiding us, but when we resist, when we fight the current of life, we create suffering. Releasing resistance means accepting what is, without judgment, without fear, and without the need to control every outcome. Some may wonder, if I let go, does that mean I stop working towards my goals? Do I stop praying for change? Absolutely not. Surrendering to life's flow does not mean inactivity. It means inspired action. It means acting from a place of trust rather than fear. When we release resistance, we stop reacting out of panic and start responding with wisdom. Instead of forcing solutions, we allow them to unfold. Many of life's greatest transformations come in ways we do not expect. If we are too fixated on how we think things should happen, we might miss the way they are actually happening. And sometimes, what appears to be a setback is actually the path to a greater breakthrough. But if we resist, if we judge a situation as a wrong or unfair, we close ourselves off from seeing the deeper purpose behind it. Think about a time in your life when something seemed to go wrong, only for it to lead to something better. Perhaps you lost a job, only to find a greater opportunity. Perhaps a relationship ended, only to make space for one that was more aligned with your growth. These experiences reveal an essential truth. Divine intelligence is always at work, even when we do not understand it in the moment. The more we trust, the more we allow God to do it again. Faith is not just believing when things are going well. It is trusting even when the path is unclear. When we resist, we close the door to divine movement. But when we let go, when we surrender our need for control, we make space for miracles. Imagine holding a clenched fist. Nothing can enter a closed hand, but when you open it, you are in a position to receive. The same is true in our spiritual lives. A heart that is open, a mind that is at peace, is ready to receive divine blessings. Releasing resistance also means letting go of the stories we tell ourselves. If we constantly replay past disappointments, we reinforce the belief that things will not change. If we fear the future, we create unnecessary suffering. But when we bring our awareness to the present moment, when we trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should, we align ourselves with the flow of divine grace. God's power is limitless. It has no restrictions, no barriers, except the ones we create in our own minds. If we let go of resistance, if we release the need to control, we allow that power to move freely. And when we do, we will see with clarity. The same force that has worked miracles before is still at work now. God can do it again. But first, we must let go and trust. The mind is conditioned to believe in limits. From an early age, we are taught what is possible and what is not, what we can and cannot do, What is within our reach and what is beyond it? This conditioning shapes our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our faith. But true faith transcends human limitations. It is not based on logic or probability. It is rooted in something far deeper, the understanding that divine power operates beyond what the mind can comprehend. Our greatest obstacle to experiencing God's miraculous work again is not external circumstances, but the barriers we create within our own consciousness. The ego, the part of us that identifies with our personal story, past experiences, and perceived limitations, often whispers doubts. It happened once, but will it happen again? Maybe that was just luck. What if I am not worthy this time? These thoughts are not based on truth. They are illusions created by the mind. The divine is not bound by human logic. What seems impossible to us is entirely possible in the realm of infinite intelligence. The same power that formed the stars, that gave life to the earth, that healed, restored, and uplifted in the past, has not diminished. It has not weakened. It has not changed. It is only our perception that changes, our ability to recognize and align with it. The reason faith is so powerful is that it bypasses the limitations of the mind. When we try to figure things out solely through reasoning, we often find ourselves trapped in doubt. We measure our past failures against our future possibilities and conclude that because something did not happen before, it will not happen now. But divine power does not operate according to human patterns. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it cannot or will not. If we look at history, at the lives of those who have experienced profound transformation, we see a common theme. Those who witness miracles are those who believe beyond their limitations. They are the ones who refuse to let past experiences dictate their future. They do not allow fear, doubt, or logic to interfere with the possibility of divine intervention. They open themselves to the infinite. But how do we move beyond our own limitations? How do we break free from the conditioning that tells us what is and isn't possible? The first step is awareness. We must recognize that these limitations are not real. They are simply thoughts, patterns, and beliefs that we have accepted over time. And if they are learned, they can also be unlearned. The next step is surrender. Surrender. Instead of trying to control every detail of how something will unfold, we must allow the divine to work in its own way. Often the mind wants certainty. It wants to know exactly how and when things will happen. But faith requires stepping into the unknown with trust. It means understanding that just because we cannot see the whole picture does not mean that it is not coming together perfectly. Consider a seed buried in the soil. It does not see the sun, nor does it know the exact process by which it will grow. Yet, it does not doubt. It simply exists, allowing itself to be nourished, trusting that it will emerge at the right time. Similarly, when we let go of doubt and trust in divine timing, we remove the blocks that prevent us from seeing miracles. Another way to transcend limitation is to shift our focus. Instead of dwelling on what is missing, we must cultivate gratitude for what is already present. The more we recognize the divine work happening now, the more we open ourselves to experiencing it again. When we focus on abundance rather than lack, on possibility rather than restriction, we align ourselves with the energy of creation. God's power is not limited by time, space, or circumstance. It is always present, always available. If we have seen it work before, we can see it work again. But first, we must step beyond our doubts, beyond our fears, beyond the illusion of limitation. We must open our hearts and minds to the infinite. When we do, we will realize that what seemed impossible was never truly impossible. It was only our belief that made it so. And in that realization, we will witness the truth. God can and will do it again. Alignment with divine energy is not something we achieve through struggle, force, or effort. It is something we allow. The universe, life itself, and all creation operate under a higher intelligence, an infinite wisdom that is constantly moving, evolving, and expanding. This divine energy is not separate from us. It is within us, around us, and working through us. When we align with it, we become open channels for its power, allowing miracles, transformation and renewal to flow effortlessly into our lives. But what does it mean to align with divine energy? It means shifting from resistance to receptivity, from fear to trust, from doubt to knowing. It means no longer seeing ourselves as separate from the source of life, but as an extension of it. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, we are not separate from the divine. The more we recognize this connection, the more we allow divine energy to work through us, bringing about the changes and blessings we seek. Many people believe that divine intervention is something that happens outside of them, that God acts independently of their own state of being. But the truth is that we are co-creators in this process. While divine power is limitless, our ability to experience it depends on our state of alignment. If we are consumed by fear, doubt, and negativity, we create barriers that block the flow of divine energy. But when we cultivate peace, trust, and openness, we create the conditions for God to work freely in our lives. Imagine a radio. The signal is always present, but if the radio is not tuned to the right frequency, it will not receive the broadcast. Similarly, divine energy is always flowing, but if our minds and hearts are filled with noise, worry, anxiety, and fear, we cannot tune into its guidance and power. Alignment is about attuning ourselves to the frequency of the divine, clearing away the distractions that prevent us from experiencing its presence. One of the simplest yet most profound ways to align with divine energy is through stillness. In the modern world, people are constantly moving, thinking, and analyzing. They are caught in cycles of stress and distraction, rarely taking a moment to pause and be present. Yet divine energy is most easily accessed in the present moment. When we become still, when we quiet the chatter of the mind and simply be, we create space for the divine to move. Prayer, meditation, and deep reflection are powerful tools for alignment. But alignment is not just about these practices. It is about a way of living. It is about being in a state of trust throughout the day, seeing life not as a series of random events, but as an unfolding of divine wisdom. It is about listening to the subtle guidance that comes through intuition, synchronicities, and inner knowing. When we are aligned, we no longer chase miracles. We recognize that we are already living within them. Another key aspect of alignment is gratitude. When we focus on what is missing, we create a vibration of lack, which distances us from divine flow. But when we focus on what is already present, we acknowledge the abundance that is always available. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is a state of being, a way of aligning ourselves with the truth that life is always providing exactly what we need at the right moment. Trust is also essential. Often, people want to see proof before they believe, but divine energy does not work that way. Faith comes first, and the manifestation follows. Trusting in divine timing, surrendering the need to control every outcome, and allowing things to unfold naturally are all part of being in alignment. Alignment with divine energy is not about perfection. It is not about never experiencing doubt or fear. It is about continually returning to a place of trust, openness, and surrender. It is about recognizing that divine power has never left us. It is only our awareness of it that fluctuates. And when we realign, when we step back into harmony with this energy, we see clearly God is always working, always renewing. If we have seen divine power at work in our lives before, we can see it again. If we have experienced blessings, transformation, and breakthroughs in the past, we can experience them again. The key is alignment, not striving, not struggling, but allowing. For when we are in tune with divine energy, we do not need to ask whether God can do it again. We already know. He is doing it now. In the end, the truth remains unchanged. Divine power is ever present, ever active, and ever renewing. What has been done before can and will be done again, not because of chance or luck, but because the nature of the divine is limitless and unchanging. When we awaken to the present moment, we recognize that divine energy is not in the past or the future, but right here, right now. When we release resistance and surrender to life's flow, we remove the barriers that block miracles from unfolding. When we move beyond the limitations of the mind and step into true faith, we see that what once seemed impossible was only a creation of our own doubt. And when we align ourselves with divine energy, through trust, gratitude, and presence, we open the door for transformation to happen again and again and again. So let go of fear. Release the need to control. Step into faith, knowing that what has already been done is not a one-time occurrence. It is the natural rhythm of divine intelligence at work. The same power that healed, restored, guided, and uplifted before is still here, waiting for you to recognize it. God can do it again. And when you open your heart, align with His presence, and trust in His timing, you will not only believe it, you will experience it.